Hi, this is Sue, the Soggy Stamper, and I am excited to show you today a card using the iconic dies from the annual catalog. They are found on page 163, right here. They do not have a stamp set that goes with them, but just standing alone, they make wonderful cards. So this is what I'm going to be using today. And the card looks like this. It's called a corner tuck card, and you open it up like that, and there's the message inside. So let's get started. Start with a piece of basic white cardstock that is 8 inches by 4 1/4. It's been scored at 2 1/2 and folded over like that. And I could have taken designer series paper, cut it. This is 2 1/2 by 4 1/4. I could have made a piece of designer series paper to fit in there, and I could have put one over here. But I decided that I wanted to stamp a fern image on it instead. We also need a corner piece to fit over here. This is 2 1/4 inch square that's been cut in half on the diagonal. So I'm using today the fern piece from the Daisy Lane stamp set, and I'm going to be using Pear Pizzazz ink. I'm going to stamp the fern on the diagonal on the corner piece like that, and then I'm going to stamp here on the front, kind of randomly. Although it's not quite so random with this fern stamp, because it kind of nestles together like that. And then I'm going to stamp around the inside of the card. And I have space for, think like that. And I might as well do this piece too. Lots of fronds. Okay. I left this center part open because I'm going to put a piece of 3 by 4 cardstock in the center there with the greeting. And the greeting says, "Just a note to let you know that someone thought of you today." And I'm going to put that right in the no, wrong ink. I want to do that with the Mossy Meadow ink. And I like to, on my grid paper, stamp first to see how well lined up I got the decal. And it's not real good, so I have to kind of adjust a little bit. Ah, perfect. So that's going to go in the center here, almost. I'm not quite ready to put that on, but I will put in this corner piece, and I'm going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue, just small dots along the edge, like that. I like using the liquid glue because you can move it. You can position your piece a little bit before the glue sets. So I'm just lining that up on the corner. And just a little bit of glue so that you aren't blocking the flap there. Okay, so now to decorate the front of it, I have a piece of 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 mossy metal cardstock, and I have a piece of 3 by 4 soft suede that I have run through the new bark embossing folder, 3D embossing folder, and I'll put those together. Using Stampin' Seal. And that's going to go here in the front, about like that. But I have to make sure that I don't put my Stampin' Seal too far over here. So I'm going to take a pencil and just make a light mark there so that I don't get it over the edge there. It's a little hard to see, but it'll help me. Make sure that's straight. And so this corner tucks under there like that to hold the card shut. Okay, now we can put our greeting in, because I want to make sure that it is covered by the outside flap. Put a little bit of seal. Tuck it in. Voila. And there you have it. That's the inside. See how it tucks under the corner as well. Okay, now to embellish the front, I have used the 2 mushroom dies and the fern frond die. I cut the fern frond from Pear Pizzazz, and they're going to go on here kind of like that. And the two mushrooms are going to go tucked underneath the fronds. But I want to put some color on the mushrooms, and I saw somebody else on Facebook that had made them red, and I love the contrast of the red. I don't know if there really are red mushrooms. And I tried using the blending brush to color the mushrooms, but I had a hard time controlling where the ink went. So I'm using a sponge dauber this time. And I want just the cap. Okay, just the cap. I'll get the underneath side too, I guess. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit more red. There. Now I could have put our adhesive sheet on the back of a piece of the white cardstock before I cut them out. Then all I'd had to do is peel off the paper backing, and I would have had adhesive all over it. And I never think to do that until I'm getting ready to put the cards together. So I'm going to use multi-purpose liquid glue, little dots of it. I'm going to tuck this under so I don't get my elements in the wrong place. So I'm going to put just little tiny dots of liquid glue on this. One of the things about these iconic dies that I really like is that it cuts little slits and stuff to give dimension, or the suggestion of dimension. Like this, and around the bottom. They have come a long ways from the original, from when we first started having the thin metal die cuts. And I really appreciate them because I don't have to hand cut, fussy cut things. Okay, now I have a greeting that I think I'll put on next. This smile is from Daisy Lane stamp set, and I've already stamped it with the Mossy Meadow ink and cut it out with the smallest size, with the smallest size of the Stitch So Sweetly die. This set of dies is I go to all the time because of the scalloped rectangles with the stitches and these shaped ones up here. So I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to keep it flat. I end up mailing most of my cards, and if I put dimensionals under, that makes it thicker. It costs a little more, oftentimes, to mail it. So I'm just going to put it on with snail, or stamping seal rather, excuse me. Okay, now we'll put the ferns on. It's really nice when you can train your multi-purpose liquid glue to have just tiny dots. It's kind of like it's halfway plugged, but not quite. So you can really control how much glue you're getting out. We used to sell a fine tip glue, and it was okay, but it took a little longer for it to set up, so you had to actually kind of weigh it down, the piece down, while it was setting up, while the glue was setting up. So I ended up taking, because this, you can unscrew the cap here, the top of this, and I ended up putting a whole one of these multi-purpose liquid glues into one of their empty containers, and it worked very nicely. Only problem with the multi-purpose liquid glue is it sticks to my fingers. I end up getting as much glue on me as the paper sometimes. And there you have it. A corner tuck card using the iconic dies from the catalog, the iconic dies, and the Daisy Lane stamp set. So thank you for watching this video. If you have need for any of the products I have used, my online store is Creation by Sue, StampinUp.net. If you have any questions, you can email me, sue@soggystamper.com. You might wonder, why Soggy Stamper? Well, the story is that I lived in southeast Alaska, where it's a temperate rainforest, and one day when I was searching for a domain name, I was sitting there and the wind was blowing like crazy and the rain was pelting across the side of the house, and I thought, yet again, and I thought, yes, I'm kind of soggy because this is a really wet climate. So anyway, that's where I got the Soggy Stamper. Moved down to northwest of Washington, and it still rains quite a bit here, but not nearly as much. So I had to change my byline from Stampin' Up a Storm in southeast Alaska. I had to change it to Rain or Shine, it's stamping time. And it is always stamping time. My blog is www.soggystamper.com, and this video, well, it is on you're finding it on my YouTube channel, The Soggy Stamper. I suggest that you, or I urge you, not just suggest, but urge you to subscribe with the button down below, to subscribe to my channel so that you get notified when I put new videos up. So thank you very much for watching, and come back for the next one I have. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.